Hey guys, so this video is going to be about acceptance, which is an interesting concept because it's not generally something I think a lot of people would apply to gaming, but generally it's a skill, or rather it is something to be aware of and to a mindset to cultivate, which is generally going to have benefits upon your life. And that's generally why competitive gaming is awesome, because there's a lot of, like, you can play for thousands of hours, you can get really good mechanically, but a couple of things that can always be stumbling blocks for a lot of people is going to be decision making, what you do with the mechanics, and it's going to be the psychology, which is basically when you receive stimuli, your kind of, let's say, your canvas already, your mental canvas is going to receive that stimuli in certain ways or filter it in certain ways, and that's going to have certain effects, whether that's going to make you angry, whether that's going to make you make a poor decision, whether that's going to make you get stressed out, or whether that's going to hurt your focus, whether that's going to essentially hurt your motivation. So you can see there can be a lot of knock-on effects, and so it's very good to just at least be mindful that your mental approach can have a huge benefit to yourself as a player, in a community of players within your team, and also as somebody, as a human being going through society. It can also be very useful achieving any kinds of goals that you want. So acceptance is an interesting one. It links very directly to presence of mind, which is an important concept. I think that will have a video of itself at a later date. But acceptance is something, for example, let's say, generally speaking, when you ever have an expectation, it can be very hard to accept that the situation goes away from that expectation. And so, generally speaking, trying to train yourself out of having expectations is really important. And also, it again kind of goes into that presence of mind, that mindfulness sort of state, which is, if you're able to achieve that, by the way, that's also one of the easiest ways to get into a flow state, because flow state is just complete presence. It's living in the subconscious. It's allowing your mechanics and all your training to just be firing off, and to just allow you to just do some crazy stuff to either get the clutches or hit the crazy shots, and that's where games are won, by the way. Preparation completely. Decision making rarely should be conscious, and you should be able to tune into that subconscious most of the time and remain focused. And this is what pressure does, by the way, in lots of situations, is it shifts you from that subconscious kind of flow state sort of area into that conscious state where you're going to be a lot slower, and you're going to be second guessing yourself, and not allowing the heuristics you've built up already in your brain to really get to work. But so, for example, expectation. This is something that is thinking into the future, basically. And also, if as well as getting rid of expectation and yourself thinking into the future, you want to try to remove the kind of thinking into the past. So, for example, why did this happen? Now, during a game, it's going to be very detrimental to your performance. Let's say if you lose a round, or someone shoots you in the face, or you think a teammate, or if a teammate flashed you, or if you think a teammate fucked up or made a mistake. Even if that teammate fucked up or made a mistake, the thing is that you just have to accept it, because you cannot go back and change what just happened. And in raging at your teammate, that's not going to solve anything. In telling your teammate how to play or fix that problem, or even if you think of it being very helpful, what that is going to do is it's going to distract you, and instead of being able to kind of have more focus into the game, it's going to take you more out of the game, because you're thinking more about the past than you are about the present. And likewise, if for example, you have expectation on having a really good round, you feel like a teammate fucked it up for you, you're going to be generating some negative emotions if towards the teammate, looking to blame them, which will hinder their performance. And those negative emotions, for some people are able to play good angry. Some people are like that. I mean, I myself, I need to be really zen to play very well. And I think when I was younger, I had a lot of raging problems, a lot of really highly emotional problems, and that would completely sink my game just immediately. So I had to get rid of all of that to be able to perform. And once I was able to do that, then I could have good performances. But basically, this concept of just always having acceptance is very, very useful to us, because essentially you can never, it's this logic, you can never change the situation other than what it is right now. And what it is right now, that's what your practice should be preparing you to deal with and to solve. And so if you can always just remain focused, then that's going to allow you to always be able to perform well at that point in time. And if you're performing well at that point in time, what's really good is it's actually a good exercise. If we reframe this, let's say everything fucks up. For some reason you have a situation which shouldn't have happened because, let's say, a teammate fucked up, or the opponents played really well, or just generally it went out of your expectation. Again, we should try not to have expectations. Or, for example, this is a good one, actually. This is one you see even at the top level, and I know myself and many other people have done this countless times. So you go in with a plan. You go into a situation with a plan. You want to go for a push. But let's say you get some information, or maybe you take some damage, or maybe maybe they spot you, or something about this equation changes as to your original expectation, which is the plan you created at the start of the round. Right? Something changes, but you commit into the play anyway, even though you're going to be making a bad decision. Now, this is something that happens because, again, it's generally like we can get very attached to certain ideas, whether that be a play that we really want to make. For example, let's say you saw some cool little play on YouTube and you just want to do it when maybe it's not the right thing to do, but you're kind of just really tunnel visioned. You get the kind of myopic approach going. And it's essentially like, I will ignore everything else that factors into this decision. I just want to do this, and that's going to be a really bad habit. Trust me, this is a really, really bad habit to get into, because you need to be able to always be reading all of the information and making decisions. That is why Counter-Strike is an amazingly beautiful game, because it's really ridiculously hard, because there's so much stuff, so much information happening at once. You have to make the best decision with the information you have, and with the information that you don't have, because the information you don't have can inform you as well as to what your decision should be through omittance, basically, deduction, the science of deduction. So you have to be able to just accept when your plan is now not going to work. And if your brain is not open to this approach, then you're going to have problems in making certain plays and commit to plays which will actually then be bad. And so, going back just a little bit about blaming teammates, if we look at this more logically and say, okay, let's not blame teammates. And again, like, for example, there are environments where you can criticize teammates and talk to them about their mistakes and decisions and so on. And Henry does this with me in the game all the time, because obviously Henry's a player that was a professional CS player, not in Go, but he was a professional CS player. So his decision making and his brain for the game is very good when he's playing. And so he's able to, despite me playing a lot of CS in the past, I was never a professional in the game, so my mind was always much tuned into different types of decision making. So he's very good at kind of jogging me and helping me, and that we have that understanding. But if you're in a game, you have to know your teammates. There are people you can do it with, people you can't do it with. You have to consider if it's going to distract you. Generally speaking, most people are going to get the most out of criticism if the criticism comes after the fact, after the game, because generally speaking, it's very hard for them to make significant adjustments. So if, let's say, because the criticism as to like the kinds of positions or decisions that they might be making within the round, maybe that's very workable. But if it's going to be something much larger than that, or you're going to criticize them too heavily in that sense, then it's going to be more or less pointless, because they won't take it in, because they might even feel attacked if you're aggressive with it. And generally, so basically this is just the idea, right? It's that acceptance thing. Accept the situation, play the situation for what it is right now, and that should be your focus. So just something to something to think about. Maybe some of these ideas have resonated with you, and you would have noticed some of these situations in the game. But mindfulness, presence of mind is definitely a really, really good state to be able to play in. And if you can generate that, and always keep your mind open to reading all the information and situations, then you're going to be able to find that you're going to hit the zone much, much more. And this is a second point, which again, there's going to be more videos to follow up. I have a to-do list, and whilst I'm in America, I'm going to try to do some more on my laptop. I don't know if that'll work yet, but we'll see, probably. So video on understanding and game knowledge. So just as a quick secondary point to this, when we are trying to improve, because that's what everything is always going to be about, everything is helped by us being able to process our experiences correctly. And so we're talking about mental experiences here, right? We're mixing them with game experiences, where the game understanding, which is what I'm talking about, comes into play. So that's going to be something that you need to generate. You need to generate a way to think about the game, so that if shit gets really fucked up, or stuff is happening, you don't know how to fix it, instead of having a more direct emotional response, you can then reframe it and say, okay, now because I understand the game better, I know how to go back, I know what process to take to try to look to see what I can get out of this. Because if you have bad games, if you have situations where things didn't go well, there's two types of players, right? There's a type of player that just wants to play, and they kind of want to improve. They want to shoot those headshots. That instant gratification of shooting a nice shot is really cool, and maybe make a nice play. They'll make loads of mistakes. They'll get really angry when they lose, and then that'll be that. There'll be the players that are similar, but they'll be actually truly invested in improving, and those are the players that are actually going to be able to take something out of that experience and be excited by the fact that you lost, or that maybe even that you played badly, because even if you miss your shots, you can still always improve your decision making. So you can always go and look at a pro player's demo of that map and that position that you were playing, or you can always look at your demo as well, maybe contrast them. You can always generate a structure of understanding for the game that's gonna help you to improve yourself. And this way it will also be a lot easier to generate acceptance, because now you have less bad emotions from when shit's fucked up. The other thing that's also very important is having a bigger scope for when everything's happening. So having the scope, to rephrase this in a better way, to have a way of thinking whereby one game, one day, 1 week of play pales to the bigger picture, which is a month, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, a year of improvement. Improvement takes a very, very long time, because improvement is about it's like with all skills. All skills take a lot of repetition to generate. But the thing is that, again, it's not just shooting better shots. It's decision making. It's behavior, and it's the way. Again, it's the approach. It's trying to find these mental blocks and be like, holy shit, I get really mad when this happens. How do I solve that? How do I change my behavior? How do I cultivate new experiences to change my behavior in that way so that I can make those improvements? And there's so many pieces to the puzzle, and this is why small chunking the pieces is quite important. That's another good topic. Small chunking is always a good one. So yeah, there's lots of stuff going on. So you never have to be really, really focused and invested at what's happening right now, because just accept what it is. You will improve over time. It's going to be a process. It's going to take a lot of time. If you're truly invested in doing it, then just chill. You are at where you're at. And I know a lot of people, myself when I was younger, I was really bad for this. I really craved to be much better than I was right now. I really wanted to be in that better team right now. And I really wanted to, maybe even in certain rounds, like I want to hit this shot, having these expectations, these kind of cravings, which the problem with those as well is that it gives you focus on something that's unimportant, and it detracts then the quality of the experience that you're having right now as well. So there you go, guys. That's just a bit of ramblings there on presence of mind, acceptance, some kind of blame culture type thinking that just doesn't really help, and maybe how to think about doing it, and some thoughts on understanding, and just generally kind of framing all of this stuff together. So hopefully you enjoyed that little tangent there, and I'll be back soon with hopefully some videos on my laptop. Again, I've got the to-do list out now, and I know I did say a few days ago that I would make another video, so here it is. And there was also that cool little highlight video from when I actually got some time to play, which was really fun. And I didn't want to, so I had to switch back to an old mouse, and it helped massively. I can't find any shapes that actually fit properly for me at the moment, so it's really frustrating, because I had a Zowie FK2 previously, and I have small girly hands, so I need small mice, and the way that I learned over these last 15 years and practiced was with small, very light mice, like the Diamondback and the Abyssus were the two main mice that I got really good on. So I really like the build quality of the Zowies. I tried them out, it didn't quite work for me, and so I went back to the Razer Abyssus. I don't really like the mouse, but the shape and the weights are perfect for me. So there you go. Anyway, it's a bit of a side thing there, but hopefully I get to play a lot more when I come back, and maybe I'll get Fiverr at some point and I can stream as well, or who knows what will happen. But yeah, peace out, guys. See you for the next one.